by Brandon.
Imagine what it's like to be confused about something as fundamental as your gender and to be living in rural America, living in a place where issues of sexuality can bring out the most primitive reactions in people. Joanne Fleming was a family friend.
Every time he tried to be truthful to the kids he was with, he was put down. He was called a fag, or worse yet, oh, you're a dyke, or you're really a lesbo. Or the girls would just look at him and call him a freak.
When the humiliation and name-calling became too much, Brandon attempted suicide. Best friend Sarah Lyons brought Brandon to a crisis center.
Just came up and she's just like, I'm so confused. I don't know if I'm gay. I don't know what I am. And she goes, I don't want you to hate me.
In counseling, Brandon discussed the possibility of a sex change operation, but never had one. There were more immediate problems that went beyond the gender identity crisis.
She started forging checks, but she would only forge them to give the girls gifts and stuff.
Brandon was stealing, and by the end of 1993 was charged with 18 counts of theft and forgery. Also by that time, most folks in Lincoln had learned the truth.
Straight girls would be, oh, I was making out with a girl, oh. And then the phone calls and the harassment would start. And that's when Teena finally left.
Left to a place where Teena didn't exist, to the more remote town of Falls City, hoping to be just Brandon.
He shaved. He would like sit like a man, and he would, you know, talk about women, like pretty women on TV.
Brandon spotted Lana Tisdale at a local bar, and they soon started dating.
It was really nice being treated like a lady instead of just like nothing, like dirt.
But with Lana came a rough crowd, including an old boyfriend, the hard-drinking John Lauder, who was also a violent ex-convict.
Lana introduced me to, and they were seeing each other, supposedly dating each other. And
we went out drinking together. We talked about women.
Lauder and his good friend Tom Neeson, another ex-con, were totally taken in by Brandon. They became drinking buddies and cruised for girls together.
We'd ride around and say, ooh, what about that one? What about that one there, just guy talk.
Now Brandon had it all, respected as a man with an attractive girlfriend. The only thing missing? Money. So once again, Brandon stole, and this time was arrested for check forgery. When police charged Brandon as a female, word got out.
What? It's like, yes, it is a woman, not a man. I'm like, there's no way. I said, that is not a woman. I said, it don't even look like a woman.
Lana refused to believe it and bailed Brandon out of jail just before Christmas.
I said, I'm going to tell them what we want them to know and what we believe. I walked out there and I said, he is a man. They said, did you see it? And I said, yes, I seen it in the flesh. I said, that is a full man, and I'll leave him alone.
But they didn't, and they didn't believe Lana either. They were furious.
Are you a girl or are you not? There's a real easy way to solve this problem.
The movie captures some of the rage that Lauder and Neeson must have felt. Two unsophisticated men from a small town, duped about the gender of someone they thought was a buddy.
All right.
On Christmas Eve, Neeson and Lauder violently ripped off Brandon's pants to prove to Lana and everyone else that Brandon was really a girl.
Tom's pulling down her pants, and he put his finger up there and said, oh, this, there's something, there ain't nothing there. She's a girl, And
so I turned around, I had my eyes like this, and I turned around and I peeked a little bit.
Brandon was exposed and humiliated and would later tell authorities what happened next. In the early morning hours of Christmas Day, Neeson and Lauder drove Brandon here to this Hormel plant. It's a place where hogs are loaded, and it reeks of urine and manure. At night, it's dark and deserted. Here, Lauder and Neeson decided to teach Brandon, now exposed as Teena Brandon, a lesson for posing as a man. Back here, in the bitter cold, they beat her until she was bloody. Then they each took turns raping her. And then they beat her again. Then they warned Brandon not to tell anyone, but Brandon did tell.
She called you and said, Mom, I was raped?
Yes, and I said, do you know who it was? And she said, yes, and I'm going to file charges.
And Brandon did just that. But amazingly, no arrests were made. The sheriff, Charles Locks, was less than sympathetic.
So when they got ready to poke you, how was your position in the back seat?
On my back.
Were they stripes back in first half?
I was on it.
Sheriff Locke seemed less interested in the crime than in the oddness of the victim sitting before him.
Why do you run around with girls instead of guys, being you're a girl yourself? Why do you make girls think you're a guy?
Because I have a sexual identity crisis.
What?
I have a sexual identity crisis.
You want to explain that?
I don't know if I can even come back.
The sheriff's department did question Nissen and Lauder a few days later, but neither man was charged. And the fact that Brandon even reported the rape enraged them. John Lauder and Tom Nissen plotted revenge.
Most everyone who lived in Nebraska in 1993 remembers hearing about the murders. John Lauder at the center of it all, accused of shooting and killing Brandon Teena, Lisa Lambert, and Philip Devine. The court ruled Lauder and Marvin Nissen raped and killed Brandon after learning he was actually a she. The other two just happened to be there at the time. Lauder has maintained his innocence. For his plea deal, Nissen was sentenced to life in prison, Lauder to death row. And that's where he's been for the past 16 years, waiting for his final punishment, but hoping for an appeal. Do you think that you will be executed?
Well, there was a time I'd say no, but, you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's one thing now. I don't sit there and say no to that possibility. I mean, now with the way things have went, especially here of late, I mean, it's clearly, you know, getting more and more that it could be a possibility.
The appeals aren't going his way, first denied by the Federal Court of Appeals and then the U.S. Supreme Court in March. As he sits here at the Tecumseh State Correctional Institution, he knows his time is almost up. What is it like knowing that, you know, every day you go about and it's possible that you could get a call tomorrow and it's someone from the state and they said, okay, this is the day that you're going to be executed?
Well, I mean, I don't look at it in that terms. I just look at it, you know, I got an appeal that I got in front of the court, and I know that could go one way or the other, and then I know after I get to a certain stage, there's that possibility that a date could be set, you know, but I know that ain't etched in stone.
Are you ready to die?
Unless there's, you know, of course, some kind of mental, you know, defect in them. Everybody has a will to live, you know. Everybody's going to fight, you know, with every breath they have to live. So I don't have that mental defect, so of course I'm going to, you know, fight for, you know, every last